Welcome back to episode 78 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. I am recovering from a little cold or allergies or whatever. I hope you can't tell the difference, but I feel fine. Definitely a lot better than I did a couple days ago. Nothing says turning 22 like being bedridden all day and not doing anything. But that we could go on and about that, but we'll move on. We got topics that we want to discuss today. Happy Memorial Day. It is Memorial Day. Just before we ask Kyle how he's doing and before we get into the topics, just huge shout out to all the veterans out there. Thank you for serving our country, and you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing.
Yes, there's no way possible that we'd be able to, put our amazing opinions out there on the internet without you guys. So we appreciate that very much.
More of a man than I am. So.
Oh, 100%.
Yes. Kyle, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Obviously we're in the heat of summer over here in the East Coast. It's starting to get extremely hot.
We're not there yet. We need that.
It was
That's why I sound like this.
Yeah, we actually have a weather advisory right now. Yes, it was 88 degrees today. So that was wonderful.
Okay.
But other than that, I am doing fantastic. My Yankees are doing quite well. I can't complain. We have the second best record in all of baseball. So, things are going well for me right now.
The Dodgers are giving me a preview of what October will be like again. Nice to see that nothing has changed. And some of these guys are becoming they're becoming annoying to watch. They really are. We'll get into that later. But since we're doing weather updates, it's currently 75 degrees over here. It's nice, but it gets cold at night, and I'm honestly ready for the heat. Give me the heat. I'm ready for it to be warm. 75.
I do agree with you there.
Yeah.
I'm more heat than I am cold. So.
Yeah, I'm ready for the summer. Topics that we got today. Ronald Acuña injury. That sucks. This is like the second or third most major injury he's had so far in his career, and I hate to see that. We'll get into that. Last week, they announced the World Baseball Classic locations. Excited about that. Toronto Blue Jays. Nothing's ever safe anymore. Seems like every week we got a leak, and sure enough, the Blue Jays City Connect jerseys got leaked, and we'll discuss that. We both like them, but we'll go more into detail. And then, of course, we'll do our teams. My team sucks right now. Kyle's doesn't. We'll get into that at the end. Let's start at the top. This happened. It was yesterday. I'm pretty sure it happened yesterday.
That's when the news really came to a halt there.
But the actual injury happened, I think, Saturday? If not, it happened Sunday.
Yeah, it was either yesterday or Saturday that Acuña left the game. Non-contact, by the way.
Yeah, and that's the thing that is most awful about this whole thing with this injury is that it was non-contact. He had a lead off of second base, and he was trying to get back to second, and I guess when he was trying, he ended up tearing his ACL, and that sucks. And right off the top, for me, it's awful for the Braves, and it's awful for the game of baseball. You saw last season what a full, healthy Ronald Acuña looks like. That's 70 stolen bases and 40 home runs and an MVP. He is obviously one of the best players in baseball, and he is one of the biggest stars in the game right now, and he's very marketable, and he's honestly, Maybe not for teams in his own division, but in terms of all baseball, he's a pretty fun guy to watch, you know? And it's horrible for the game. And the thing that is kind of scary and kind of scary about that injury is that can happen to anybody. That can happen to anybody at any time. When you get a lead like that and you're trying to, in a second, trying to get back to the base, or you're trying to take that next step towards the next base, that can happen to anybody. And it sucks that it happened to Ronald Acuña Jr. Remember, 2021, he had another major injury, and he was out for the rest of the year. 2022 came back, and then last year, of course, the MVP year, and this year out for the rest of the year, and it's not even June. So it sucks. I hope nothing but the best for him, obviously. I hope he comes back and recovers, and I hope we see him again next year and he performs at an MVP level like we know he can. But it just sucks for the Braves that they're not off to a good start. Are they winning games? Yes, but the expectations was a lot higher than this, and they're currently like 6.5, 7 games behind the Phillies. This was not the start that I don't think the Braves and Braves fans were expecting. They're 9 games over 500, and they're 6.5 back of the Phillies. I don't think their division chances are done just because of this, but man, did it take a big hit yesterday, along with the other injuries to their other core guys too. Just Braves can't seem to catch a break this season so far.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you said. Obviously, this is a huge hit, not only for the Braves, but for the game of baseball. I mean, I absolutely love to watch Ronald Acuña and what he does. He's such an electric player. He really is. He's a weapon on the base paths. He's a weapon with the bat, and he's a weapon in the outfield. This guy is obviously one of the best players in baseball. There's no taking that away from him. However, this is the second major injury in his career, and it was the exact same injury. So that's what is the cause of concern for me here. Yeah, obviously it sucks that it happened to him, but I think you need to look big picture here, right? So obviously, what can he do in his rehab process that's a little bit different than last time? What can he do to ensure that this kind of injury is kind of avoided in the future? I think that's something him and the Braves both need to kind of figure out, whether that be a rehab plan or whether that be just a different kind of workout, kind of, conditioning thing. But for the Braves, I think not only is it a big hit, but I think it hinders their chances a lot. This is obviously not the Braves team that we're kind of used to here. They're second in the division. You had stated all the standings and things. And the Phillies are on a roll right now. Yes, the Phillies aren't having the most difficult schedule, but at the end of the day, they're still winning games and they're taking care of the people who they need to take care of. And the Phillies are showing that they are a powerhouse. They can't, they're no pushover. I think this Phillies team is legit, and I think that it sucks for the Braves that they're in this division with arguably the best team in baseball. So that's where the cause of concern long term is, because how do you replace his bat? You really can't. So I don't exactly know where the front office is going to go here. I think it's going to be relying on a lot of internal guys. I mean, Sean Murphy just came back from the IL. I believe Austin Riley did as well. So you're getting some bats back in that lineup. But yet again, we talk about Ronald Acuña. He is one of the best players in baseball. It's extremely hard to replicate that production that he's going to give you. So do I think this completely takes the Braves out of the equation? Absolutely not. This team is still capable of so much. But with the underperformance that they are already playing with this season, and now losing Acuña, that worries me a lot, especially with how well the Phillies are playing.
Yeah, this is the stuff that has happened from 2020 until now with Ronald Acuña Jr. This is between the ages of 22 and 26. He is like in the prime or getting to the prime of his career. 2020 was the COVID year. 2021 he tore his ACL. 2022 was limited by the recovery of his ACL. 2023 wins MVP, and then this year again with the ACL. That's it. Listen, that's a lot. That's a lot for a kid that's not even 29, 30 years old yet. But I think he's gonna be. I think he'll come back. I think he'll be good. Sucks. And you mentioned a second ago of what the Braves front office could do. They're gonna do something, and I didn't come up with this, so I'm not gonna take the credit for it. One of my former baseball coaches that I still keep in touch with, he mentioned it to me last night. Braves should go get Tommy Pham. Should go get him. I mean, he's raking down there in Chicago, and is he exactly, a great defender? Probably not. He can hold his own, but he's gonna give you the offense. Is it gonna be? It's gonna be Acuña? No, but he's still pretty good, and he's on a very favorable contract. And obviously, we know the White Sox aren't going anywhere, so I'm sure the Braves are. They may not trade for him, but I'm sure they're gonna be one of the teams that you're gonna hear at the deadline of that we're interested in trading for Tommy Pham, especially now after what happened with Acuña yesterday.
Exactly, and I think that's a move that could very easily be made. I think the Braves need to get at least 2 or 3 bats to kind of try to replicate Acuña. I think Pham is a perfect target. You can also go out and get. I'm sure there's going to be a slew of outfielders who are available on the market once this trade deadline comes up. So I think the Braves do have options. It's just, like I said, it's going to be extremely hard to replicate whatever you get out of Acuña.
Absolutely. Get well soon, Acuña. We'll see you next year. I know he's going to come back stronger, and he'll be right up there again in the MVP race.
Agreed.
Moving on. This was news that happened last week.
Something that's near and dear to our hearts.
Yes, the 2026 World Baseball Classic. The locations. Now, obviously, 2023, that was a big deal. So many people watched it. People were into it. A lot of the stars came by, and it showed that, hey, this is a big deal. And baseball fans everywhere enjoyed that tournament for 2 weeks. And obviously, they announced that they're coming back in 2026. And they announced the locations of last week. Pool A will be played in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I think that's the first time they're getting the World Baseball Classic, so good for them. Pool B will be in Houston, Texas. First time they're getting the World Baseball Classic. They had always been rumored to host either the pool play or the elimination games. So I'm glad they're getting it. Pool C, of course, Tokyo, Japan. That goes without saying. And then, of course, lastly, Pool D, Miami, Florida. And the quarterfinals will be in Miami and in Houston. And then the final will be in Miami again. Listen, I completely understand why they go to Lone Depot Park in Miami. I would not have been against if they would have switched it. If they would have went to a San Diego or an LA or somewhere else. But again, I'm not hating. I completely understand why they go there. I get it, the demographic, the people that live there. I completely understand why they did that. But I'm excited. It really isn't that far away. We're in 2024 right now. At this point next year, we're going to be talking about, the World Baseball Classic again. Which is crazy. But I'm excited. This tournament can only get bigger, and the guys that are playing it are only going to get bigger. And there's somebody like in the minor league or in these other countries that we don't even know of right now that are probably going to make a name for themselves in the next 2 years at this tournament. So I'm excited to see it, and of course we're gonna go. Probably gonna be in Houston, which yay, I guess. But hey, man, we're going to see Team USA. We're not going to see the Houston Astros.
Yes, so I kind of touched on it a little bit. The World Baseball Classic holds a very special place in our hearts. This is where we first met in person.
Yes.
Was at the last year's World Baseball Classic played at Chase Field in Arizona. Um, so obviously around the diamond, kind of, didn't originate in Phoenix, Arizona, but definitely took that next leap. But the World Baseball Classic is one of the best things when it comes to the sport of baseball. I mean, not only are you getting the players who we enjoy watching on a daily basis that play for our favorite teams, but we get introduced to these new guys, right? We get introduced to guys who we have never even seen or heard of, and you touched on that a little bit. And that's such like an important part of the game, right? And I always go back to the one thing when it comes to the game of baseball is how can we grow this game? And it's not only in the United States, right? Like when you look at Major League Baseball, you are getting all different types of demographics and all different type of cultures, backgrounds, everything in between. And this tournament just screams that. So it's such an important piece to the game, and I love how much Major League Baseball really plays into it. And we kind of see that. That's why games are being played down in Miami. That's why we're going to Puerto Rico, to Japan, and now Houston's going to get their turn in this. So obviously it's a big deal for baseball. It's a big deal for us. And Team USA, we always look forward to that a little bit. We kind of get the rumored guys. We get the guys who are always there. I know my guy, Aaron Judge, he had touched on it before. He said he wants to play in it. Well, guess what? I want to see you play in it. Go do it. I'd love to see a team of, Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, all the guys who we absolutely love to watch on a daily basis, all playing for the country, all playing for the team. And another thing that really excites me about this tournament is the fact that guys have been on record saying that this means more to them than a World Series. And that means a lot. Playing for the country that you were born in and, just watching these other guys go out there and have the pride. And we really touched on that. When we were out in Arizona, we saw it firsthand with Team Mexico against Team USA. Team Mexico and their fans were going nuts.
All the Mexicans.
In Chase. They were going nuts, man. And we absolutely enjoyed it. I remember leaving Chase Field, not even pissed off that Team USA lost. I was taking in the experience of all the fans going nuts. You don't even see that in a playoff atmosphere sometimes. I think that's what's so important about this tournament and why I absolutely love it. It's such a good thing for baseball, and I'm glad Houston's getting their chance because, listen, we can shit on the Astros all we want, but Minute Maid Park is one of the better stadiums in the league. I haven't been there. We're just assuming that this is where we're going to go. I don't see Team USA. Yeah, I don't see them doing pool play down in Miami. If I had to guess, they're probably going to go to Houston. So if that's the case, I'm excited to see it. And at least I don't get to see the Astros, right? My first time in Minute Maid Park, I get to watch Team USA and not the Astros. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, watch this be the 1 year where they just want to get cute with everything. You know what, Japan, you're going to Miami. Team USA, you're going to Tokyo. Mexico, you're not. You're going. Hey, we understand that Puerto Rico's hosting it, but guess what? You're going to Miami. I know. I don't think they would do that, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. Like you mentioned, holds. It's very close to our hearts. They were the first big event that gave me and the company credentials. That was the first big one that really got us off the snide a little bit, because I had gotten a couple Dodger games, but when I found out that I got accepted for the World Baseball Classic, I'm like, really? I'm like, the tournament with all the countries in it, you're giving me that? I'm like, all right. Cool.
Well, and then I'll never forget standing outside waiting in line to go in that damn stadium, and you texting us a video of you interviewing Ken Griffey Jr. Come on,
yeah, man.
those are the type of feelings that you can't replicate. I mean, those are the type of things that we absolutely love about this job and what we do. And another thing too, it really took off our socials.
Oh yeah.
That's the point where we started really getting to where we want to be. So obviously, like I said, and like you said, it holds a special place in our heart. And this is a tournament that I think I could see around the diamond doing every single time. I mean, this is something that we absolutely love to do, and I could see us going and continuing that whole tradition, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, and this tournament's only going to get bigger. It seems like
Oh,
every year it's been bigger. I was watching it in 2017 when it was a big deal, but there were some guys that, like, for Team USA, there were some stars on there, but it wasn't like, Mike Trout or anything crazy like that. But I remember watching that, and I remember, obviously last year was a big deal, and I'm sure 2026 is going to be a bigger deal. And 2029 or 2030, it's going to be an even bigger deal. But this is probably one of the best things baseball has come out with in the 21st century, this tournament, because it's not too long. You're playing for your country because you don't get to do that every 4 years at the Olympics. And it's great atmosphere. You mentioned it. You get to see all the cultures come together, and you get to experience baseball in other places outside of America that you probably wouldn't go to, more often than not. Obviously people will, but
yeah.
you get to see international baseball at the highest level, and you get to see guys play for their country, and you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
No, and one last little tidbit I have here is when we flew out to Arizona. When I flew out, the flight was so long, and we were jet lagged and we were tired, and then we happened to go to that first night, that first
Great
Team
Britain.
USA. Yes, Great Britain against Team USA, and we were falling asleep
Oh
in
yeah.
the stand. It was to a point where we were up probably for over 24 hours, and we were sitting in those stands. And how I knew I was hooked on this tournament from the very beginning was sitting in front of us was two guys.
Oh yes.
They were trashed to beyond belief, but they were completely dressed up, overalls that had the American flag all over it. They were just red, white, and blue everywhere. Like, these guys were, just top tier fans. And the amount of interaction and the amount of energy that they brought to this tournament kind of just kept me involved, right? So I was sitting there dozing off and tired, and then I see these two guys absolutely energized and cheering on their country like it was nobody's business. And that was something that we really enjoyed. So that's how I knew that this tournament that kind of set the tone. And then we were there for a couple more days, and it was an amazing experience, and something, like you said, it's gonna get bigger every single year, right? And I also like how it is every 3 to 4 years, because it builds up that anticipation, right? It builds everything up, and it's not something that you get to see every single year, so that makes you want it even more, right? So I think that's what I like about it, right? It's not something that you see every single year. It's something that you kind of got to look forward to. So I really like the way they handle it. And yeah, I'm pumped. I can't wait.
Same here, and we'll see in 2026. Probably in Houston, Texas, but we'll see.
Most likely.
Yeah. Moving on. Toronto Blue Jays. Their City Connect jerseys got leaked. First, it was a hat that got leaked a couple days ago. And then the jersey, I guess, came out today, or got leaked. I gotta tell you, I think this easily goes into the top 5 City Connect jerseys.
Easily.
And a lot of people, I know, kudos to you, you posted it on Instagram right away for us. A lot of people, at least on our feed, were kind of like either they loved it or they absolutely hated it. Like, there was no in between. I saw some people like, oh, this is the stuff you'd find at a airport. It's like, this is something you find at TJ Maxx or something. Like, all that stuff. I really like it. I really, really like these. It's everything that some of these other City Connects have failed to do. Number one, it matches the colors of the actual team.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Blue Jays wear black? No, they used to. A couple, like 10, 15 years ago. Kind of gotten away from that. They're more blue, red, and white now. They have the blue in there. They have the little red stripes. And they give you the skyline of Toronto. I absolutely love that. That's like my favorite part of the jersey. That's my favorite part of the jersey. It's what it's supposed to be, a City Connect jersey. This is it right here. This for me, this is a 9.5. And the reason why I'm not giving it a 10 is just because I would have liked to see the maple leaf on there. Me personally, I understand why they didn't, and I know the Blue Jays have stuff already where they have the maple leaf on other stuff, but this is easily one of the best City Connect jerseys that have come out.
Yeah, my very first thought when I saw these was this reminded me a lot of the home jerseys for the Miami Marlins, right? That's what my mind first went to, but it caught my eye right away, right? And I'm going to double down on what you said. My absolute favorite part of this is the skyline. I think that's what sets it apart for me. This is what, like, okay, so if the Yankees ever do come out with a City Connect, I want the New York skyline so bad to a point where it's like, I feel like that's where, like, my personal opinion about it kind of came into play with the Blue Jays. And, like, okay, so I've been to Toronto before, right? And when I went up there, the nightlife up there, it's, like, unmatched, right? You can walk around Toronto, and it's so, like, it's just the vibe that you catch up there is second to none. And it's a very, very cool city. I love Toronto. I would gladly go back anytime.
I want to go.
But yes, it's very nice up there. What the Blue Jays did with this jersey, I can't say enough about. Like I said, it's simple, but yet it gets the point across. The whole City Connect thing. And the Toronto lettering kind of looks like neon. I really liked how they played into that. And I also like the touch of gold that they put in the Nike logo.
Yep.
And the piping on the side, I think it sets it apart with the sleeves because, you know, you can't really just leave it a black sleeve. You gotta have to have something in there. I love these jerseys. I'm gonna go with a 9 here, only because I really don't know what I don't think I remember what I gave the Reds jersey. I think it was either a 9.5 or a 10. And just to play it safe, I'm going with a 9 on these ones. I still think the Reds have the best City Connect. But Toronto, I'm putting them number 2 here. I am. I love these jerseys. I can't say enough good things about them. I really can't. And it's like I'm trying to think of things to what they could have added or what they could have done. But I think with the general theme of these City Connects, they've kind of been a failure. So I'm not going to play too much into it. I'm not going to look too much into it. And I'm just going to say that these are the second best ones that came out. And I absolutely love what I see out of them. Yeah, I really have no complaints. I love the skyline. I love the piping. I love the black jersey. And they really play in with the city. It reminds me of the nightlife that I saw up there. And just, you know, the neon lettering. I love it. I love this jersey.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see if this is the real City Connect jersey because it's not confirmed yet.
Yes.
I want to see how it looks on Vladdy. I want to see how it looks on Bo. I'm sure it's going to look great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's going to look great, and I'm sure they're going to embrace it too. Yeah,
yeah.
This is easily one of the best ones, and kind of surprised how a lot of people don't like it. Really shocked. It's like, but you like the other ones? I don't know. I really, really like these.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing on. Oh, my Dodgers suck.
It's waiting for it.
Yeah. It has not been fun watching Dodgers baseball the last 5 games. They're currently on a 5-game losing streak. And the thing that is probably the most concerning and that scares every Dodger fan, and the reason why we can't get too excited about this team or about any team, they go on these stretches where they just forget how to hit the baseball. And they've been doing it again these last couple nights, and almost the bottom of the order is becoming unwatchable, and they're becoming unplayable, to be honest with you. You know, no disrespect to these guys, but, you know, Gavin Lux, 0 for 3. Jason Hayward, 0 for 3. Kike Hernandez, 0 for 3. Austin Barnes, 0 for 3. Can't happen. That just can't happen. There's too many good guys in this lineup. And this team is supposed to be so good that can't happen. You know? And it's just, this is happening in May. And, you know, again, this is still my team, and I'm going to, you know, be waving pom-poms no matter what, and I'm going to be there in October. But if it's happening now in May, what makes me think it's going to change in October when the stakes are even higher? Because one of my biggest concerns coming into this season was that the Dodgers, you know, they put all this money into this team. Ohtani's coming in, Yamamoto's coming in, Glasnow's coming in. You know, obviously, they're the team that everybody wants to beat. Not because they're the defending champs, just because they spent a shit ton of money to improve the roster in the offseason. My thing was that they were not going to be able to handle that pressure. And they were not going to play up to their level just because there's so much pressure on this team this year to win. And so far, up to this point, I think they've handled it pretty well. It was a problem the early couple weeks with Ohtani and all the media attention, but it calmed down a lot. I think the players got used to it. They made adjustments in the clubhouse. Ohtani's now speaking to reporters outside of the clubhouse, so the guys can have their privacy, so they're adjusting. But they go on these stretches where they just can't hit the baseball. And, you know, I hate to admit this because I love the guy, and I know it's a long season, and I've mentioned his name in the past, and he's still hitting like above 280, and a lot of guys would kill to have a season like that. For the first time in his career, Freddie Freeman is starting to show his age. He is starting to show his age. He's not hitting for power. He's just late on a lot of these pitches. He's missing a lot of pitches in the strike zone that he usually hammers, or at least puts the ball in play for a single or a double. He's missing those pitches, and he's fouling them off, or he's completely missing. And he's just a tick off. I don't know what it is. I mean, listen, I understand Father Time catches up to everybody, but may I remind all Dodger fans that this is only year 3 of the Freddie Freeman contract. I believe we have like another 3 or 4 years to go.
I believe it's.
Do I think he's going to continue to play like this? No, because he's a Hall of Fame player and he's going to figure it out, but it has not been fun watching Freddie Freeman in the last couple weeks. Ohtani continued to do his thing. I didn't even know he had a hamstring injury until yesterday, but I'm glad he's playing through it, and it seems like it's not bothering him. Mookie Betts, can we trade for a shortstop, please? I'm not done with the Mookie Betts shortstop experience, but he's trying to be too perfect at short when he just needs to be average, and I feel like it's taken away from his hitting. But excuse me. They got swept by Cincinnati, which they have trouble playing in Cincinnati for some reason anyways. He lost 2 out of 3 from Arizona. And again, they go on these stretches where they can't hit the baseball. And they did it again these last couple days. We go to New York, and hopefully they figure it out. But I'm not going to panic because they're still in first place. And they have like a 6-7 game lead over the Padres. But They got to figure out how to hit the baseball. This needs to be fixed. And I hope we're not getting a preview of what's to come in October.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a cause of concern. I mean, this is something that I haven't been tuned into Dodger baseball, but from an outsider looking in, it's been worrying. You know, I mean, you lose 5 games in a row, especially to the teams that you're losing to, and maybe it's just because we put the Dodgers on such a pedestal. You know, we expect the Dodgers to go out and never lose a series. We expect the Dodgers to come out and basically sweep everybody that they play. Obviously, that's not the case. Baseball is a very long season, and no matter what, you're going to run into these stretches where I don't care who you're playing. You could play the damn White Sox, and you're still going to lose series here and there. You know, the Dodgers are only on a 5-game losing streak, and luckily enough for them, you're right. The Dodgers currently hold a 5.5-game lead over the Padres, and the Padres have not been playing fantastic baseball either. And also lucky enough for the Dodgers, the second, third, and fourth place teams are basically hovering around right at 500, and then you have the Rockies, who are just the Rockies. Dodgers are currently sitting at 10 games over 500. I mean, yeah, it's not where you want them to be, but they're still fully capable of winning this division. There's no need to worry. I think they'll be okay, obviously. But like you said, you know, they do go on these stretches where these guys kind of forget how to hit, and then it's like this big thing, and then, you know, especially for this lineup. I mean, this lineup is held to a very high standard, and they kind of dicking their fans around a little bit when they do go on these stretches. So no, I completely agree with what you're saying. Now, there's not too much that I have to say about the Yankees here. The Yankees are currently sitting at 37-18, 19 games over 500. They just took 2 out of 3 from the Padres. I'm at a loss for words, I guess you could say. I mean, this team, man.
Wow.
You know, I kind of am. You know, I really don't have much negatives to say because, okay. So I dog shit on the Yankees all the time, right? But I will give them the credit where credit is due. This team, I said it last week, I've never been this confident in the Yankees for the last couple seasons. And so how you know you're a good team is that you take care of business against the teams you're supposed to, which is exactly what the Yankees are doing. And when you do lose a game, it's a game where you feel like it should have never left out of their hands to begin with. And that's exactly what happened against the Padres when they lost that last game yesterday. The Yankees came out with an early lead. Clark Schmidt was shoving. It looked like they were going to win, and then they kind of just let the game go, you know. And it's like it's such a weird feeling after some of these losses because it's like the Yankees shouldn't have lost this game. So that's what makes me not worry like almost at all. Obviously, there's certain areas where I'm worried. The bullpens have been a little shaky. Aaron Boone, I still don't like most of his decisions, but for the most part, he's been doing pretty good this year. I will say, the Yankees had the best pitching staff ERA in all of baseball, and they're doing it without Garrett Cole. I say it every single week, and I'm going to continue to say it until Garrett Cole is back, or until this team shows me a reason not to believe in the pitching staff anymore. Our worst pitcher this year has been Nestor Cortez, who has a sub 3.50 ERA, I believe. If it's not sub 3.5, then it's sub 3.7. You know, these guys are doing what they need to do. They're giving us length. And these are guys who I sure as hell didn't depend on at the beginning of the season. I knew Stroman would do his thing, and I knew Rodon would probably have a bounce back, but everybody else were total question marks. And they've kind of locked that down for me a little bit. As far as the offense goes, Juan Soto's doing his thing. Aaron Judge is doing his thing. Aaron Judge is he's on a whole new level right now. I don't know what the hell he's eating or what the hell's going on with him, but I don't know what to say, really, other than, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. There's one guy I want to talk about a little bit here, and that is Anthony Volpe. Volpe is a franchise shortstop in the making. He is, considering everything that he's been through and all the media bullshit, because he was compared to Jeter, all coming up through the minors. And that's a tall task for a kid to take on. Last year, he won Gold Glove. His bat wasn't there. Obviously, he's developing. But his sophomore year has proved to all Yankee fans that we can count on this guy. And to make matters even better, he's on a 19-game hitting streak right now. And I feel like that's not being talked about enough. You know, this kid is doing what he's supposed to be doing. And it's such a joy to watch. His sophomore year has been such it's so blossoming in my eyes because this kid is doing what he's supposed to.
Usually sophomore years are slumps.
Exactly. He's taken that next step and he's understanding the New York media better than anybody. This kid's saying all the right things and he's doing all the right things while still playing with a Gold Glove defense. So no complaints there. I'm going to end on this. The Yankees are currently 1.5 games ahead of Baltimore, which I don't like that. I feel like there needs to be more of a cushion here. But this division is starting to shape out a little bit here, right? So you have New York and you have Baltimore who are kind of dogging it out for that top spot. And then after that, you got third place Boston, who's 9.5 games back. It's starting to shape up here where it's like, okay, we can kind of get a grasp of what we're going to see here. And last thought here, DJ LeMahieu returns to the lineup tomorrow. Aaron Boone had said that Volpe will not be moving from that leadoff spot, which I absolutely love. You know, because throughout this entire rehab assignment for LeMahieu, all the talks were that Volpe was going to get moved down in the lineup and then DJ was going to go in that leadoff spot. Luckily, and I'm so glad Boone actually made this decision to keep Volpe in that leadoff spot. It makes all the sense in the world, and now you have DJ LeMahieu, who's batting 7th or 8th in this lineup, right? And when you have these guys at the bottom of the lineup who are Gleyber Torres, who are DJ LeMahieu, LeMahieu could literally pencil in the 8-hole tomorrow. That is ridiculous. The depth of this team is honestly like, I don't give props to the front office often, but I will here. The depth here, absolutely love it. I can't say enough good things. I mean, we could very easily see Gleyber Torres batting 7th tomorrow. That's ridiculous. We have Rizzo batting 6th, and we have Stanton batting 5th on any given night. It's beautiful. That is a beautiful lineup. I absolutely love to see it. Yankees need to keep doing what they're doing. We've only played Baltimore once this year, so I can't really say too much on that. But I'm very excited. I like what I see, and I really have no complaints, other than the bullpen's been a little shaky. Other than that, I love what I'm seeing out of this team.
That's good. That's good. Looks like, yeah, I mean, you're either going to finish 1 or 2 in the division. That's the way, unless, the Red Sox completely, go on a tear here, or if Tampa Bay remembers that, we're the Rays, we're going to win 95 games again.
Yes, and I will say this too. Yankees have a 3-game set coming up against Anaheim Angels, and then we have a 3-game set against San Francisco, 3-game set against Minnesota. So those are series that we should be taking care of, right? And then after that, that leads us back home against your Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yes, and who knows? I might not feel good about it. I was feeling good about that a week ago. I might not feel good about that now. But
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We will definitely see. But unless you got anything else, Jesus, unless you got anything else, I think we're done here. We covered everything.
I believe so. I think that is it.
Yeah. Episode 78 in the books. Keep following us on our social media. Keep looking out for stuff. We're still doing this.
We have a lot of great things coming up. We have Cooperstown. There's also one other thing that's kind of in the works right now, but obviously until that's set in stone, we won't mention anything. But
right.
Lots of good stuff to look forward to here.
Definitely. All right, episode 78. We'll see you next week. Adios.
Later.